Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Star Citizen Live Game Dev, this time on Tevarin War uniforms. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee, and as you all are no doubt aware, given the current world situation with battling the COVID-19 virus, we are all in our homes. So welcome to my home. This is where I live. So this is going to be a little different. We're going to try to have a little fun today. We know that it's very serious out in the world right now, and for at least an hour at the end of a Friday, at the end of a week, we're going to try to enjoy ourselves here and have a little fun doing some real work from home. And joining me on our work from home is mi compadre, the yin to my yang, the Ned Niederlander to my dusty bottoms, Mr. Jeremiah Lee. Jay Lee, how you doing, man?
Good. You're sweet to my potatoes. My
Sweet.
ham to my sandwich. My star to my citizen.
I was gonna say, if anybody's the ham, you're the ham.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely the ham.
Yeah, you're the ham to my sandwich. If you've never seen the show before, Star Citizen Live is where we focus on one aspect of game development every other Friday. Now that we alternate with Calling All Devs, you'll get another episode of Calling All Devs next Friday in our place. On today's show, which is what we refer to as our game dev, it's where instead of a general Q&A, we are going to be exploring process in the process of how we create something. And so, Jeremiah, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're creating today?
Wait, you want me to share a screen first, or just explain? Are we doing?
Explain what we're doing before we show it.
So we'll actually be concepting some uniforms that the UEE wore during the Second Tevarin War, which is about 300 years prior to current day. So, current day in Star Citizen lore.
Okay.
So it's like 2600.
Something around there. There were two. We should have had Dave Haddock on to
we
us
should
do this. There were two Tevarin Wars. There were two Tevarin Wars in Star Citizen history. There was first and second one. They don't have any other names other than the first Tevarin War and the second Tevarin War. During the Second Tevarin War, if I'm remembering correctly, that was the UEE versus the remnants of the Tevarin supremacy.
The first one or the second one?
The second one.
The second one. Yes.
Was it Tevarin supremacy? We should have looked this up beforehand.
Oh, that would have been helpful.
But you can read all about it if you go to robertspaceindustriescom. There's a number of posts that regarding the Tevarin and the Tevarin Wars. The big one that I remember was called Tears of Fire, if I remember correctly. So you can find that if you just go under com links and you can search through the different lore posts. There's a Tears of Fire. You can also there's also a writer's guide that was published a long time ago that had a lot of deep background for the two Tevarin Wars. So since the Tevarin Prowler is on its way, making its way into your hands in the upcoming Alpha 3.9, we thought it would be really cool to take a look back and explore what some of these uniforms for the UEE might have looked like way back when, because I'm a big military history buff. There's probably no bigger military history buff I know than Toast, who is our Stephen Cam. If you're familiar with him on the Spectrum, he's our legal counsel for CIG. We talk a lot about military history, so we thought we'd explore some of what these military uniforms might look like. So Jeremiah, if you're ready, why don't we share your screen?
Okay.
And we'll get going.
Do you see my screen?
Hey, what?
So, this is my, as always in every stream, I show the reference board, because no concept artist can start without a reference board. And so if we look to our very left right here, we have kind of, I took snippets from the Squadron 42 trailer we released, I think, about 2-3 years ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of like, and these is what the backers are used to seeing. But we wanted to do something because the Tevarin War, at least the second one, was about 300 years ago. Let's take it back a notch and also make it a little bit more specific or design more towards the Tevarin War in general. And so,
I just saw the picture in the corner.
what picture? What picture? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't just keep going.
Okay. All right. And so the Tevarin, from my lengthy conversation with Dave and also Elwin, this is snippets from the IC that we shown yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of the screen tech, and there's a lot of these geometric triangular patterns that are underneath. There's a lot of angular pieces right here. And I actually worked with Elwin on the inside of the Prowler with another concept artist. And so this was a lot of fun working on this one. And this is the ship right here. And from what I know, the Tevarin are known a lot for their shields, their shield technology. Mm-hmm. And so what I thought might be interesting is, because I think by this point, the UEE would have been in war with the Tevarins for probably about 6 to 7 years. So they would have encountered some of their Tevarin technology, and incorporating that into the uniform might be really cool. And so exploring some of these shapes to influence a little bit of the uniforms, but they have to look older than these uniforms. So we're in a kind of like, we have to find that sweet spot.
All right, we're still doing. God, don't. Every time you scroll, I see a new horror. So we're doing UEE military uniforms towards the end of the Second Tevarin War.
Correct.
So the UEE has had lots of contact with the Tevarins through the First War, and they're in the latter years of the 7-year Second Tevarin War.
Yeah.
And you're suggesting that the UEE would have incorporated Tevarin influences into their uniforms?
A little bit of because like the Tevarin, they're even on their infantry, they heavily focus on shields, and so it was a lot of like war of attrition. And so incorporating a little bit of Tevarin shield technology that they've stolen or acquired, I think would be a really interesting visual design, and also it'll kind of fit in. And that way also we don't have to design just a straight up World War I, World War II uniform.
So you're saying Messer was a real piece of work. He would have his guys steal the tech of their enemies and begin to incorporate it into their own uniforms?
I feel like Dave is going to kill me in about 45 minutes. This is what I was talking about before. Remember we had that Orison thing? Like, this is the part I'm talking about, where, restricting ourselves inside of a box, but then pushing that box as far as we possibly can. Right. And so this is my way of pushing that box. Dave might not be happy after this.
Well, we already got DJ Steve, so
perfect.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, cool. So I have a little bit of World War I and World War II references here. I got a little bit of Italian as well. And also like the current day uniforms and some like Napoleonic references as well, and a little bit of the British during the World War I. And we have France and Yugoslavia. So like I kind of want to play around with a lot of shapes. And so before the stream, I actually prepped this bad boy. So what I did was I took Captain White. And I painted a little bit as a base, and normally I try not to start with a empty sorry.
I hate you so much sometimes.
But I don't like starting off with just a blank slate or like a white sheet of paper. And so we're going to use this as a base. This is what the current uniform is, and we're just going to kind of sketch around. And then when we go to a certain place, we're going to kind of stop and make variants. And so let's actually just, from first off, I kind of want to explore a little bit of this. I think this is really cool. A little bit of these elements in here.
Is that like French or Belgium or?
I
Trying to think
think
of what
I
the
think it was Italian. I think it was.
Italian. Okay, no, I can see Italian.
I think it was Italian. And so yeah, we're just gonna make some rough shapes here.
Toast or no toast? Where's this uniform from? What's this uniform from? Oh, he doesn't know.
Oh, bum bum bum. So the hard thing about making concepts that are kind of older is I have to try to make it less streamlined, which is a little bit difficult because my instant reaction to kind of just concepting uniforms in general is try to make it sleek and like make these 45-degree angles. But
Yeah, but at the same time, though, this is older, but it's still 500 years in our future.
sure, sure.
So I mean,
That's the hardest part for me. It's like make it futuristic, but not.
Yeah.
Like what?
Plus, they say that fashion is cyclical. So we can I can buy that World War One era military styling might come back in play in the year 2600.
Maybe.
Hey, with Messer, everything's on the table. Everything's
Yeah.
on the table with
Yeah,
Messer.
everything's on the table. I actually want to change the colors a little bit. I do like the red and the does give it that slightly older feel to it, having a little bit of red. And for those of you guys watching, I have no idea what I'm doing. But this is the beautiful part of concepting is you kind of
They've seen the show before.
okay, yeah. So
They know you have no idea what
their
you're doing.
expectations are quite low, which is perfect. That's exactly how I need it to be. So I kind of like having this sort of like, yeah,
That's very imperial, like right off the bat. A nice half cape
yeah.
is very imperial.
Well, I mean, this is just sketches, just rough sketches. I think it might be a cool idea. Just explore some ideas.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't explored the lore behind the Star Citizen, there is a wealth of material available on robertspaceindustriescom. The lore team puts out a weekly comlink that they have put out a comlink of lore every single week since the project was first revealed in 2012, and I don't think they've missed a week. I sincerely don't think they've missed a single week. So there is a wealth of lore. And I'm going to go ahead and give a little shout out to a Star Citizen named Astropub, who runs a wonderful Galactic Historian web series where he takes a lot of that stuff and makes it very concise, and he editorializes a bit, which is fine. That's his prerogative, but he does a really good job. He really does a really good job overall. So if a bunch of reading isn't your thing, I can definitely recommend those Galactic Historian segments, and of course our own previous Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy series, which you can still find up on YouTube. That's more star system based than event or timeline based, but you can pick up a lot of lore and a lot of history from the Star Citizen universe in those videos.
Sorry, this is yeah. People are probably tilting their head right about.
I am shit.
Sorry,
You caught me.
Sorry about.
You caught me. My head was. Wow.
Yeah, because it's hard to make straight lines like sometimes, and so I have to like tilt my canvas. And for me, I can make straight lines when it's angled for some weird reason. I'm kind of a freak of nature, actually. So like it's as you would know,
Yes.
I'm a little strange. Just a tad bit strange. Okay, I think we're definitely nailing a completely different look. I think we should do maybe kind of show a before and after. So we move him over here. Let's actually get rid of all this on this guy. I drew on his facial hair layer. I did a boo-boo. That's not good. Okay. That's fine. All right, I just here. I think adding a little bit. I also don't want to make it too ceremonial at the same time. This is getting quite close to ceremonial outfits because I'm assuming that these guys would be wearing these on the ship, and so having a lot of.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's Messer. Uh, at least from what from my conversations with the lore team, what I remember from reading the posts,
Mhm.
Messer wasn't exactly. I, I I wouldn't consider him, and maybe the lore team would disagree with me. We'll see, but I wouldn't consider him one to be bound by the rules of pragmatism.
Mhm.
When you're that imperial, you tend to wanna show
Show
off. I
off a little
think.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, this is the United Empire of Earth here. Empire was the operative word back in those days.
So I think if we added a little bit of, I think pants would always be the same. Um, we could give him like he served duty, so we can add a right stripe on the side, which is military base. I think if you have served in combat, you have like a red stripe on your pants. But I also want to kind of like mix in not just one element. I want to look at some more Tevarin stuff, and so maybe they incorporate a little bit of their look into here. My gut instinct is like to like incorporate a little bit of that onto the outfits. It's a little strange. Need more references. Oh.
What are you doing with the white there?
I'm like raising his collar a little bit. Like showing a little bit more of the layering of the clothing.
Now you're gonna the mighty Celt in chat makes a good observation. We're looking a little matadorish here.
A what?
Matador,
What's Matador?
bullfighter.
Oh. Ooh.
It's all right.
Oh.
It's because all we've done so far is just added a red half cape.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a well known fact that every just about every fashion design goes through a matador phase at some point.
Okay. Let's not dwell too much in this one. Let's actually like we had this phase. And so let's try some other things, and then towards the end of the stream, let's like refine one of our favorite ones. Okay, so we got that one. Why does he have the red on his shoulder? Okay, there we go.
I'm gonna see if I can't. I'm gonna see if I can't call
Dave.
I'm gonna try Will Weissbaum first.
Ooh. I kind of like this look right here.
Hey, Will, are you there?
Hey.
Thank you for taking the call.
Oh, no worries.
This just turned into an impromptu episode of Calling All Devs.
Just some devs calling a
some
few
devs.
devs.
So we are live on Twitch right now,
Oh,
and
geez.
we are exploring what UEE military uniforms during the Second Tevarin War might look like. And we were wondering if you could tell us a little bit about Messer and what just from your impressions of Messer, what would he look for in a military uniform? Would it be very regal? Would it be very practical? What's your impression of Messer and how he would dress his people? Think bridge officers. We're doing a bridge officer right now, if that helps.
Yeah. So I think it would be kind of like exuding like power would be the message. Power and control and dominance kind of coming from that position of dictatorship. Like Ivar Messer had just took complete power from the previously democratic government and was really trying to hold on. So I think you would see some sort of fascist influence in kind of his choice for that uniform of, the UEE is a relatively new creation under his control.
What was the UE? I'm trying. My memories
So
of the first
by the
Tevarin
time
War and the
of
second
this-
Tevarin were mix. Was
So
UE
the-
around for the first one?
So the UEE was created after the end of the First Tevarin War.
Okay.
So the war ended and Messer became prime citizen and he starts restructuring the government into the new UEE and then he anoints himself imperator. So the Second Tevarin War happens about 55-ish years later. So you have that. So he's been an established power. He's kind of has a firm grasp on it. But so we would probably still be seeing that like initial kind of UEE uniform of when he introduced like this empire, this imperial kind of stance for humanity. Like this would have been introduced right after that first war. So that
Gotcha.
kind of human first strength. Is any of this helping you, Jeremiah?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, this is actually very close to how I work. I normally have an audiobook out, and your voice is very mesmerizing. Just like.
Do you have any thoughts about colors? Like I almost want to ask you, what was Messer's favorite color?
You can go that route too.
Man, I would have to do some deep diving into some of our old stuff because right now we have our UE logo, but I would have to check with Dave on the provenance of that because I believe that's a newer one started after the fall of Messer, but I'm not 100% on that actually now that I'm thinking it out loud.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah, that sounds right to me too because it's presenting that kind of friendlier
Exactly.
UE image versus this stuff. That's Civil War cap. Oh,
yeah, the epaulets, definitely epaulets. With the those are always fancy.
Yeah, the key word that I was listening to when Will you were talking was dominance, and also kind of like regal.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
because before he is the first emperor, the first imperator, as he dubs himself, and so that kind of new royalty would definitely have come into play. Maybe a little fancier from the previous UPE uniform. Like before, like in between kind of the First Tevarin War and the Second Tevarin War, other than a lot of like border keeping just in case against perceived, because he tried to maintain that heightened alien threat atmosphere, was also kind of silencing people who would be against his rise to power.
Mhm.
So of really, really standing out there on the corner of like not only inspiring the people to give them something to be proud of, but also like that little bit of loudness to make them kind of scared at the same time.
I feel like somebody who makes themselves emperor would be very cognizant of rank and presenting rank. Like I am not like JD's adding the patches to the side. It's officers would be very. I would think that officers would at this era would be very much about presenting their status to other people.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially if you're trying to present power. It's like I'm wondering if this thing that you're doing on the left there, Jeremiah, like if that's like a huge kind of rank, rank like different color bands and huge, just bright in your face, like you can't possibly miss that this is a fleet admiral or whatever.
I keep having the word dominate in my mind.
Like now or just generally?
The entire time. You must dominate. This is like that. That's like it's been ringing in my brain.
Hold on. Tyler has offered a suggestion. Let's see what Tyler's suggestion is. Nope. God damn it.
Can you say "God damn it" on stream?
No.
Was he suggesting a Hawaiian pattern?
He suggested a Hawaiian shirt. That's entirely on me. I should have known. And I should have set it to pop up on the other window that wasn't streaming. Hey, we're in our new work from home reality at the moment. Let's set this up. You don't know. Jay Lee, you're on my team. You're on my team.
No,
Okay,
I'm sure they need a tropical world camouflage.
Yeah.
When they're,
Tropical world camouflage.
you're going down to that beautiful planet. What are you going to blend in with? So this is interesting because this implies that the double-breasted cut of the current uniform was a later edition.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you're welcome to stay, Will, but we didn't schedule you in, so I don't know if you've got work to do.
No, well, you can stay.
The other thing I'll throw in a little bit is, Messer himself, Ivor Messer, was a soldier. Like he fought on the front lines. He was a brilliant strategist. So there also could be an argument for an angle here that there would be
A firearm.
a level of efficiency to his uniform just to go the other way. That like if that, but this actually strikes a nice balance between like that kind of proud military tradition with a little bit of fanciness and exerting your dominance over it. So
Yeah, for what you just thought, a lot of times, especially during wartime, like a sidearm would be a permanent part of even a dress uniform because you're a bridge officer, but you're in a time of war.
Mm-hmm.
It's you would never be away from your away from a firearm. So I'm thinking about remember, and you're gonna hate me for references, but Lando's outfit in Return of the Jedi. How he had the chest strapped pistol as part of his general's uniform.
I kind of don't want to put like a weapon here, because then the gun strap would actually cross the metals, and the metals are placed over the heart. I could tuck it underneath here.
I mean, maybe we just say that like gun hands were really popular during this time. Just everyone. No, that's not
human
canon.
body
Ignore that. That was a
modification.
joke. Don't have gun hands.
But also, like, not really sure. Placing it kind of like where we have it
here on the side might not be a bad idea.
I like the red stripe on the pants.
The blood stripe.
Yeah. I get yelled at constantly by veterans and current people serving in the military currently. They're like I remember I got yelled at for not what was it, creasing the folds on tucking the pants and the boots correctly. Yeah, I got in big trouble for that one.
Yeah, because the stripes all have meaning on the current modern day uniforms.
Yeah, this one's I think the red stripe was they have served time in active combat. Yeah.
See, like, I know that's a holster, but right now it looks kind of like one of those sacks that you keep like snacks in for your bird.
Yeah, man.
Which maybe this person definitely needs like a falcon. Maybe everyone on the bridge was issued their own private bird of prey.
The falconer. That's right. We'll just say it's on the side of his left leg where you can't see it.
Perfect. Maybe he's just left-handed.
It's back there where you can't see it. There you go.
There you go.
It's
there.
It's back there. It's back there.
It's just you know.
Yeah, I don't want you to get stuck on it.
Yeah, what's that? I don't know. Could be anything.
I'm kind of curious if we were to actually kind of play a little bit with the white and red. Because I think a lot of my designs, I try to keep it almost monotone, and that's kind of like the trend. And also, like, Star Citizen is actually quite desaturated and there's not that much contrast. But then the moment we introduce a little bit of high contrast, it becomes a little more, I don't want to say clunky, but a little bit old-fashioned, I think. And so that might...
B Quartermass in the chat makes a suggestion I actually really agree with. Dune would be a good inspiration for these uniforms. Remember the military uniforms from Dune?
I don't remember the military uniforms from Dune.
Well, you're doing great now, so I don't want to sidetrack you. But those are very cool.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I like it. Remember, because we were talking about this earlier, the difficulty here is you're trying to strike an older look, but at the same time, it's 500-600 years in our future. So it's still, I mean, this is still beyond Star Trek and stuff as far as the timeline. So it's like, I like what you did with the arm there.
Okay, let's not get stuck on this one. Let's come up with a different idea.
Yeah.
Let's just make a whole bunch. I don't like him anymore at all.
Let's go for this one. I would say like very like clean and efficient and like mega utilitarian, right? Like the ranks would still, I think, be like bold and proud and like easy to recognize. Like it's just these guys are designed for like military ruthlessness.
Okay, so more utilitarian kind of. I guess that would be more of like a little bit baggier. Things are hanging. Oh, this is actually very interesting.
Oh yeah, that one. Like it's still got some of the pageantry, but it looks like he's ready to tussle.
Yeah, I think actually raising his belt might actually be
just all the way up. Yeah. Double belt is
belt's the way to go.
Now we're getting a little kind of Final Fantasy with the double belt. See, aren't you sad that I didn't leave when I...
Will, you need to like sit next to me at the office when we do get to come back. You just need to like this. We'll have all the fun.
See, that's what's nice about working from home is like I'm virtually sitting next to everyone now.
Oh, this is true.
Yeah.
This is true. I kind of do like the idea of having like the asymmetrical double-breasted thing like later, and because that's actually a very prominent design of our current uniform. Well, 900
So maybe
years
this
in the future.
maybe this came about after the fall of Messrs when they did the redesign for the new.
Yeah.
Navy.
So that's why I think I kind of want to not do this thing.
Maybe they're extra macho and it's bare chested, just wide open.
Toast had a suggestion. Do you know what a baldric is?
A baldric?
Picture. Can you picture like Lieutenant Worf from Star Trek? The big giant shiny thing that he wore.
Oh, kind of
over
like a
his uniform?
bandolier.
Yeah, it's bandolier, but that's where you put all the medals and everything. It's on that thing. It's basically a giant ceremonial sash kind of thing where all the medals and everything go on that thing.
Oh, so like everyone's a scout.
I don't understand what you mean. Everyone's a scout.
Like, isn't that what they put their little badges on?
Yeah.
During
Oh,
scouting?
a Boy Scout. A Boy Scout. Okay.
Or Girl Scout. I didn't want to gender it.
No.
Like everyone gets sweet sashes when you're scouting.
That's true. But that way, there's utility there because when the shit hits the fan, you just unclip and all your metal garbage falls away. You're ready for a fight.
Something like this.
Yeah, and then like different ranks would have different colored baldricks with more ornate trim.
I actually do like the chitter chatter that's going on right now. No, because the thing is like the concept guys, like yeah, there are moments when we're like, you know, heads down, don't say a word, put on our headphones when we're rendering stuff. But when we're formulating ideas, there's a lot of times when we just like actually sit and talk about like and kind of like come up with ideas and stuff. And so this is actually a very accurate representation of what normally happens around this stage of concepting when we're just like I'm not really sure what this thing is.
And you know what a baldric gets us? At the bottom end of it, you can put a sword or move the firearm there, but it's usually used for the sword.
I think they place the swords on the belts actually. They hook them on the belts normally, I think.
Well, yeah, but because they don't have baldricks. But if you have
Those
the baldric, if you have
Those
the baldric,
fools.
the baldric attaches to the sword attaches to the bottom of the baldric.
I actually, like, if it wasn't a baldric, but I'm liking that diagonal thing. Like, if you look on that reference that you called up for the Yugoslavia guy, like that leather crossband that went under his epaulets and attaches to his belt.
Mm-hmm.
And the
That,
first
Yeah, to help kind of support the weight that maybe the belt would carry if you were actually out in the field and had stuff hooked into it.
I actually also do like how big and clunky the epaulets look like.
Yeah, I think that might be like a nice nod towards what we're talking about, the pageantry a little bit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get in the way. Like, I like how aggressive those boots are too. Like, I think nice, meaty stomping boots would be a good.
Well, I cut the legs off because I didn't want to draw feet today.
That's fine. In my imagination, that's what he was wearing.
I was like, I only have an hour. I'm not going to spend so much time on everything.
Do feet take up that? I don't know why I pluralized it like that. Do feet take up that much time? Are they difficult?
No, they're not difficult. They're just very annoying.
Oh, interesting.
Ask just about every comic book artist ever.
Yeah, like.
Ooh, but what's going on here? Little neck protector.
Think
weird.
of like. Kind of like instead of having it open like this, like having it closed, kind of like the Yugoslavian World War One style.
It's a protector because everybody knows that when Tevarans attack in melee, they go to like beak at your neck.
Yeah. So
that's
so
canon.
wool will protect you and cotton over you.
I wonder. It'd be interesting to see, like with a shorter jacket. I like the higher belt where this is heading. This is really gearing up, Jeremiah. I think you got something.
Yeah, I think we're onto something here. We could do the.
No, I don't like that. It's wrong. I like the mini shoulder one that they do on kind of more modern uniforms. Might be nice.
The ones that go under your armpit, kind of thing.
Do they go under? I thought they just went on top. I don't know. Either way, yeah.
Maybe they go on top.
Oh, they could go under your pits.
like one of these. like these ones. I think these are more in the. I think the British have a little bit of on their. Well, they're more of their what do you call it? Their ceremonial
Yeah.
dress uniforms. They have those.
And then because this is the Messer Navy, they would also double as Garrote warriors, just in case.
Chat agrees with me that they go under the armpit.
Oh,
They
okay,
go
cool.
under the armpit.
I mean, that's how they work in present time, but in the future.
Yeah, we're 9 years in the future.
Or in this case, 500 years in the future.
All right, I'll place it under. I'll place it underneath.
I'm convinced you can rationalize just about anything by saying, yeah, it's 900 years in the future. It's pretty much a good way to rationalize just about any decision.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Ah!
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, I'd be interested if that sash was part of the belt.
This sash was part of the belt.
Oh,
Yeah.
like it just went to the belt and terminated at the belt and
Yeah.
stopped going beneath it?
Jared gets what I'm going. Yeah. Everyone hates that. I was wrong.
Yeah, you were wrong. Nope. Control Z.
I think adding a little bit of the. Oh, that's not the right color. Just having the different colors of metals too would probably help. Like the ones that have like the. Wait, Jared, can you give me what time is it?
You have 20 minutes left.
Oh crap. Okay.
So it's probably time to start working on more facial hair options.
Yeah, sure. I think no. Okay, I think let's just kind of like I'm gonna have to rush through this. Just imagine that this is here. I think what we need to do is actually kind of like start to hone on one design and start fleshing that one thing out. I think would be probably the best idea. So which one are we digging right now? 1, 2, or 3? Obviously they're super rough, but then I want to refine one to make it look really pretty by the end of the stream.
I'm gonna let Will pick.
3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Goodbye, half cape. I miss you.
Yeah, the half cape just feels a little bit too like I could see the half cape coming into play like as we start getting into the later generations of messers and they get more removed from actual warfare, and like these are kind of like spoiled grandchildren, all the infighting, and then you start getting uniforms that are a little more ostentatious, just like standing near them, going on parades and that kind of thing. Like this is still in like this is still an active war. Like we're Messer's got that ruthless dominance, as Jeremiah likes to
Dominate. Okay, I'm gonna bring the facial hair back.
Okay. Who's this head? What is this?
This was a head that I grabbed from This Person Doesn't Exist.
Okay.
And then I stitched a bunch of heads together on top of that, and then I painted on top of it to make it even more completely different. So this person should not exist.
No.
Ever.
It's a good shout because he looks familiar towards like a bunch of different people. I'm like, oh, is it kind of like that and that?
Oh, that's actually the most. I tell a lot of the concept guys to do the same as well, especially like because it's the faces and the heads that really sell the uniform as well. It's not just the outfit. And so we have to draw these heads, but then obviously we have to get rights to use certain heads. And so what we end up doing is we Frankenstein a lot of heads together that we know, either from friends, and then we paint on top of that even further to make him look like completely different. And so unless we have permission to use the actors' heads, kind of like our mission givers mostly, or the scans that we have the licenses to their likeness. It's also another difficult part of being a concept artist.
Yep. Now, can we make the should we make the baldric more like metallic? Like what's the baldric made out of? I feel like I don't know. I'm thinking like not chainmail, but the material underneath should be incredibly durable. Like if they whip this thing off and hit you with it, it would be a weapon itself. Not that that's the intended use. I don't think it's leather to me. I think it's
Solid gold.
So I thought with this high collar that just popped in my head is the idea that these older battleships didn't have quite as many tech advances and it was a little more dangerous onto it. They just incorporated in the last few years the Tevarin air shields that they noticed in the first Tevarin War and have started putting that technology in, which has made them a little bit safer. But they're relying on kind of bulkheads and venting and like generally ships weren't as safe, and like that high collar makes it feel like maybe it's more designed to be able to hook in fast with like a mask or some kind of equipment in case of an emergency.
no, like it would have like two little bolts or hooks on the side, and yeah, a helmet could be dropped really quick and fasten in and make an airtight seal around your head.
Yeah, maybe. Like we have kind of some of those ideas of emergency helmets in some of our other uniforms, I know. So like maybe that was just more kind of the standard practice for everyone. Like the guy in the bridge would reach into his like chair to like the emergency cabinet and be able to like pull on a breather real quick.
Yeah. Or the baldric would be made from Tevarin feathers.
It's dark.
I do like making this like a completely different material, though. Just on a balance-wise, on top of this, it's actually very interesting. I do like it.
Yeah, you'd get a lot of like rank reads really quickly from that.
Mm-hmm.
Where do his pants hit underneath there? This is a dumb idea, but like, because you're in the final phases, but I'm wondering if it was less of an over jacket and more kind of jumpsuit. No, I take that back. I'm thinking too much.
I think making it a little bit not so snug on him.
Oh yeah, you said like a little bit of that roominess.
Yeah. I could like, fluff out his pants a little bit.
Yeah. Little jopper.
Yeah.
Action.
I do like something that's kind of happening here as well, actually. Might be...
Yeah, show off that he has a nice calf.
Well, yeah, if you have nice calves, you
I have beautiful calves, by the way.
I learned an interesting thing. I read this whole
I have
book
tremendous calves.
on clothing history, and men's calves used to be like the thing for a while. And so they used to make hose men's leggings that would have fake calves sewn into them.
What? Really?
Yeah, so that you would have just the sweetest calves when you pulled them on.
The sweetest of all calves.
Yeah, people would check out men's legs back in the day. I mean, men were the ones who wore high heels for a long time too in history, which was fun.
Jared, do we get a calves reveal on stream today for the first time ever on Star Citizen history?
We didn't put a disclaimer at the start of this, so I don't know if we can.
Oh. Just a bonus feature.
We're gonna have a lot of these from home things for what looks like a while. So let's not hit all the at home beats on our first show.
Hit all the lows first on our first.
The double X is not the double X. The single X is kind of interesting. No matter how many times I see you do this, Jeremiah, it always blows me away.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel. Because to be honest, though, when we do concepting, sometimes what we end up doing is just delete and just do again. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of times it's people think we come up with this and it's just everything is just done.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do that segment at the beginning of this quarter where we, showed all the no goes before we got to the
Mm-mm.
goes for Horizon. I mean, and those were the ones that you actually went to review with.
Yeah.
For the how many dozens and dozens were thrown away that didn't even go to review.
Yeah.
Before all those ones that did go to review then also didn't get picked.
Yeah.
It's concept art, and this is one of the reasons I'm infatuated with it, and why I became your friend, Jeremiah. It's an exercise in futility.
Here's an interesting idea. What if like the elbows and the knees had a little bit of like extra reinforcement in them because of that utility thing again? Like
Oh, I see what you mean.
maybe
Like,
not quite motorcycle padding, but somewhere along.
I think we can do like a little bit of like sewn in um
Like the
padding, soft padding. Like it's
yeah.
kind of like what the motorcyclists normally have on because they have armor on. But
Yeah,
like,
it's a little bit of that like quilted.
yeah. I think that will definitely make this look a little older as well.
I was
Adding
thinking of
little-
those patches that college professors wear in their jackets.
Yeah, leather. That's why they wear them. So they're ready. Actually, I have no idea why that came about. I know like elbows on coats used to wear out and people would wear clothing a lot longer, so they would have to repair them. And maybe they would, and then they would repair them with leather because leather would last longer than the tweed. But I guess it just became a style.
Are we sticking with the blue or the dark colors for the uniform? Are we?
we can
Being that this is
change it
several
up.
hundred years.
Yeah, we
This is
can-
before the fall of Messer and the UE went through their rebranding. I mean, might there be an entirely different color palette?
We could go a little bit more. We could go the gray route, so the colors will pop out even more. But we are getting a little.
Or like that like deep
SS,
rosy
but-
pink of a smoked ham.
I was actually thinking a little more in your face, something like a red or an orange or a very in your face, very aggressive.
Very targetable.
Well, remember these are for bridge officers. It's not exactly.
The cool thing with Photoshop, what we can do, is actually.
Ooh, let's see. I think, to my mind, with the rebranding that the UEE almost certainly did after Messer and everything, if they went to blues, they would come from something. It would let's go for a look that's as polar opposite as you could. Like I think they're coming from like a red.
There we go.
I mean, the color could have continued because
Yeah.
it was also an interesting thing about the restart was that there was a lot of people who felt a very deep attachment to the previous couple centuries, and so it was kind of this. That's when we get this question a lot about why was the UEE still called the UEE after the fall of the Messers, and it's this idea that it was a compromise after the Messers got knocked out. That there was still like a lot of loyalists in the government and in control. They were trying to hold everyone together, and so there were some compromises made. So the idea was that it wasn't a completely new government that was being formed. It was an improvement to the UEE. So like, and that's why they're still an imperator and all these kind of like nods to this previous era, which is kind of interesting. So,
Chat seems to enjoy the wine red.
Wine red.
the
that they've
burgundy.
got here, the burgundy.
The burgundy. I want to incorporate a little bit of some elements of our current uniform. Just a tiny bit.
Oh, I like that. Also, that thing that the little padding that you just drew, the baldric, when you got a lot of metals on it, it's going to be heavy. You want a little padding there on your shoulder.
A little padding.
Like you just draw. That's a little leather padding up there to.
And they usually
help
have
with
an
the weight.
amulet over it to hold it in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that thing's not going anywhere. It's also
Sure. What time is it?
5 minutes.
This is the part I hate about these live shows. It's like you have an hour. Have an hour. Do it. And I'm like, oh no.
So what's that? Is that just a material stripe on the?
No, this is gonna be like one of the tassels.
No. I know what you're working on now. I'm talking about the dark burgundy stripe across his chest.
Oh,
Is
this
that-
this one's gonna be like leather. This is like another kind of like reinforcing belt to kind of keep this from. This is gonna remains intact here,
Mhm.
but this is kind of like the holding point for the middle of this bandolier thing.
Oh, interesting.
And it attaches into the belt, which was your idea from before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That reminds me of the bits. If you remember the TNG episode, Yesterday's Enterprise, they had the same kind of high waist belt with the band across. That's what it's reminding me of.
He did. I remember that.
What
I want-
history?
I want to keep drawing. I want to keep drawing.
Jeremiah.
I just got in my groove, Jared.
We'll go an extra 10 minutes.
I guess that leather underbelt could be made out of the same leather material as the shoulder piece.
Mm-mm.
No, I couldn't.
Like this, as the gray.
Mm-hmm.
For you, Will. Let's do it.
Just trying to waste your last few minutes on something dumb.
Oh,
Setting it-
I liked what you did there.
Just 1 second.
Ruined it.
Oh yeah, there we go.
We can like.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Saved. Ruined. Saved.
See. Oh, I'm really liking this. This is a snazzy uniform.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna have to model this, and we can make this like a historical. Actually, this would be kind of upsetting to wear. Like you'd be sending a very particular statement, walking around in an old Messer uniform. But
Jared, can we make this?
be for museums or like battle reenactment enthusiasts.
Well, I mean, to be fair.
fair.
Last time I was on, we did the Microtech jacket thing, like for cold weather,
Mhm.
and that did make it in the game.
Oh,
That became subscriber flare.
Mm-hmm.
Are you asking if we can make this subscriber flare?
I don't know. No. Maybe. Because now Jared is the overlord. The subscriber overlord.
okay. And then
it would
just like
be pretty cool, admittedly, because we don't have any military uniforms available for people in the PU at the moment. So if we did this would be an older style uniform. It wouldn't, it wouldn't get in the way of the squadron stuff, the present stuff. It would.
I mean, maybe we do a slight variation on this to go back to even older with the UPE uniform, which would make more sense why people felt comfortable wearing it around. Like, it's definitely a tricky thing because on one, and we're seeing this in current modern day culture too, is that you don't want to erase important history, but on the other hand, there's a difference between acknowledging it and honoring it in like.
Yeah, but this would be like for Tevarin War reenactors.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we can talk to Sean about making that level in a future Star Marine battle. See, we get excited by all this stuff, and we just dream big. But worst comes to worst, we have this really nice image. taking phone calls in the middle of a live stream.
No, I think it's food. I think it's food's here.
Yeah, you have to do what you can to survive.
That's why I set my food delivery for
Speaking of-
1:30.
Since we're almost done, I do want to save all my love and warm thoughts to all of you out there, and hope that you're doing okay in these troubling times. And glad that we can still all get together for fun Star Citizen stuff.
Apparently,
Yeah.
I muted because my lunch got here, and I unmuted before I stopped talking. So apparently, everybody heard me.
Everybody.
Oh
Talking
yeah,
about
we
my-
definitely heard
we
you.
heard it. We
Well, I know
definitely
you guys heard me. You're on Teams.
Oh.
I was trying to keep it out of the broadcast that my food has arrived.
Maybe we should actually put a little bit more black on this outfit.
Yeah, I'm really liking the wine burgundy with the black.
Yeah, I think we're getting somewhere with this.
Oh yeah. And the looser sleeves and the slightly bigger pants.
Mhm.
And the nice buckle on that belt. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
We'll have to see what the UEE logo was back then.
The UE logo was the okay. I can do one real quick.
Wait a minute. And as you all know, that's pronounced Joey. What's
I don't know what layer it's on. Oh, there. I do want to put something like official looking on here, though.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that would be where the UEE logo would probably.
Yeah,
go.
I could just like kind of like hint at some form of. Like, some squigglies.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what that is, but it doesn't matter. That's
Very
the UE
fancy.
logo back then.
Maybe in like a gold instead of the white or something.
Yeah, I wonder if underneath the jacket, like that like undersuit is just it's actually an undersuit. Like it's all
Oh,
one piece.
underneath him.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
That would be really interesting.
And
Just
that's
to
why,
make,
like,
I do
hair
like
tight-
the idea. Yeah, that he's actually protected underneath from all this stuff,
Right.
and so he could put on like an emergency kind of like if there was a breach.
Yeah,
Right.
he's wearing an undersuit, just like one of the armor undersuits.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just he puts a helmet on. The helmet connects into that collar,
Yeah.
and he's set for EVA or decompression or.
Well, I don't think he would last that long,
Oh, that'd be interesting if that. I mean, not for now, but like if that collar was actually part of the undersuit, so that the jacket has an open collar that goes around it.
That'd be really cool. I'm actually thinking that we have a little bit too much gold on him now. So
I like gold.
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 Well, if Austin Power 3 references aren't a sign that this stream should end, I don't know what is.
When everybody thinks of Austin Powers, they always go to the third one first, don't they?
Of course they do.
They're smoking a pancake.
Smoking a pancake. Isn't that weird?
I remember my mind being blown when I saw the first Austin Powers in a theater. Like, just was not expecting that movie, and I was just fell in love with it.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Like trying to navigate down that small hallway in the little golf cart vehicle thing, still
Haunts you to this day.
is prime comedy. Well, I think you came up with something really cool, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
I think we can. I kind of want to, after the stream's over, just keep working on this and maybe. No, we might see it in the verse soon. I'll negotiate.
I think we can make something happen. All right. Yeah, we
we
do
can just call
we
it.
do need to wrap up though. I
Yeah,
have to get-
yeah.
Because Jared's food is here.
That's right. Okay, for now.
You can go. So let's go ahead and get a picture for the YouTube.
Wait, take the 2 seconds to fix those medals. Like put some color on them.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
It looks like he spilled his coffee now.
Oh man.
And then we'll call it. The last thing, got to give him his due credit for all the battles he's fought. So yeah, what did he got that one for latte art.
Yes.
That one was for best Halloween decorations or the Lorna decorations. Very nice, well decorated. He's definitely in charge of a battleship. So if we could just really quickly design a battleship from that era,
Okay.
that you could pilot.
One of those are for sewing. One of those are for first aid.
One is for zero-G cooking.
Okay, just give me just 1 minute. 1 minute.
One is for most cookies sold.
This is Captain White's great grandfather. Oh yeah, they were allowed to smoke on board back then. Gonna give him a big stogie, big fat stem hanging from his lip. All right, that was so atmospheric.
Okay. What you want a big picture of this?
Yeah, well, you just send it to me afterwards. It's fine.
Okay.
Well, thanks
All right.
so much for letting me be a part of this.
Hey, go ahead and stop your screen share, Jeremiah.
No.
Take no, no. You.
I'll send you this one. Love you.
So that's our show. I hope you enjoyed it. My thanks to Jeremiah Lee for agreeing to be on the show ahead of time, and for Will Weisbaum for agreeing to be roped in and drafted mid-show. It goes without saying that it is impossible for me to do any aspect of my job without the participation, the willing participation and enthusiastic participation of our developers. So thank you so much, the two of you. We've got one more episode of ISC coming up next Thursday ahead of our regularly scheduled hiatus towards the end of the quarter. Alpha 3.9 is currently on Evocati PTU and testing. And another episode of Calling All Devs is coming to you next Friday, as opposed to an episode of Star Citizen Live as we begin our schedule of alternating back and forth. So for Jeremiah and for Will and for myself, we'll see you later. You want to play us out, Jeremiah?
Because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me.
See you later, everybody. Take care.